Isang bulan na mo ron chumena matagni ko ni ron ni bibo ko matagni ke misa ko. Niya na isang bulan na sir ko ni sana. Chumena kino na mo ron chumay. Tuna sile. Isang bulan oyo Mr. Ben.
Kela pa?
Na magkikira ni bibo mataka mo ni chikira mo ron buka may na ono kinadiwa na Bula FM.
Ang tuna sile.
This is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. In this bulletin, government to decide this week on how it will pay the US $250 million bond. Alarming number of rape and marriage cases received for the first 6 months of the year. And Fiji and the region not immune to Islamic State recruitment. The government will decide this week how it will finance a global bond worth US $250 million, which matures next year. Finance Permanent Secretary Filimoni Wangambada says talks have been held with various international financial institutions and multilateral organizations to work out the best solution. Maggie Boyle with the story.
A huge payout for the government looms less than 6 months away, with more than 525 million Fijian dollars, a US bond maturing next year. Finance Permanent Secretary Filimoni Wangambada says the loan will be repaid in full.
The next year will be in full. It will probably be a rollover depending on the arrangement that we will agree on now. So it will be, we will have to roll over or do another float in order to repay that. But part of it will probably be taken from our funds that we have been keeping aside to help in the funding aspect of it as well.
Wangambada also reveals that the bond, which was taken out in 2011 for the development of infrastructure, is not something the government coffers have on hand to repay itself. He says government is talking with various parties, including multilateral institutions such as the Asian Development Bank and the World Bank.
Fiji has never defaulted in its financial obligations, and secondly, when we went in 2011, our economic indicators were not as good as what it is right now in terms of growth. We are growing in around that period. I think the growth was just over 0.1%. Now we are growing by 4.5% last year, 4.6% the year before, and about 4.3% forecast for this year. So there's big variation in our economic performance then and now.
According to Wangambada, the economic forecast for Fiji is much stronger than it was in 2011. This follows 5 years of consecutive economic growth, foreign reserves hitting the $2 billion mark, and an improvement on the credit rating to be positive, indicators that should make the country a good prospect for a loan. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The Fiji Women's Crisis Centre has received an alarming number of cases of rape and marriages in the first 6 months of the year. The centre attended to 22 cases compared to a total of 62 for the whole of last year. Chanel Sivan with this exclusive story.
Startling revelations from the Fiji Women's Crisis Centre. The number of cases of marital rape has increased. 25% of cases at the Fiji Women's Crisis Centre indicate women had sex because they were afraid of what their husbands or partners might do.
They are actually forced to perform certain sexual acts that they do not agree to, and they are forced to have sex when they don't want to, and also they are sometimes they are beaten, and after the physical assault they're immediately forced to have sex with their husbands.
FWCC Councillor Supervisor Farzana Rahim says many of their clients have also gone through torture, where husbands rape using objects and performing other inhumane acts.
Well, when we look at the violent relationship, what happens is usually men have control over the women, their lives, even including their reproductive health. So what happens is sometimes husbands beat their wives and continuously rape them. So sometimes they have children, one after the other, and that has a lot of physiological impact on women. But because the women are not able to talk to somebody about it, they continue to suffer in silence.
In a marriage, husbands can have sex with their spouses but does not have the right to force her to have sex. If the partner does not consent, she has the right to do so. Marital rape is also a crime, and under the crimes decree, it is described as an offence of rape with the maximum sentence of life imprisonment.
Punching, kicking, slapping, burning, being tied up and hanged and dragged around, hit with objects, knife, hot food thrown at them. So there's a quite extensive ways that women get.
FWCC national stats show 1 in every 4 women have been raped in her marriage. 15% of the cases show women have been forced to perform sexual acts that they felt were degrading and humiliating. 2 cases of the alleged marital rape are currently before the courts in the Central Division. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
A leading Muslim cleric says Fiji and the region aren't immune to the terrorist group Islamic State, which is recruiting young men and women from around the world. Imam Afroz Ali, a former Fiji citizen and one of the top 500 clerics in the world, appeared on Fbctv's For the Record last night. Edwin Nund reports.
It inspires rebellious people.
Imam Afroz Ali is involved in...
There is evidence that in fact people from within Fiji in fact have been accessing videos and information about ISIS, which is not necessarily available to the public, but you'd actually have to have contact with people who may be involved with ISIS in terms of recruitment.
Mostly young men. Imam Afroz says moderate Muslims...
It's only those people who are far removed from Islam, happen to be Muslims, but are people who are either involved in existing criminal activity within their own countries and therefore apparently running away from their responsibilities and then seeking a place where they can actually have the ability to respond in a rebellious way. And what better place than a place of war? The general youth community around the world, regardless of religion, are actually asking some very legitimate questions in relation to the problems that actually occur because of the politics of war through the governments of the world. This is something that we can't neglect.
The Public Accounts Committee failed to meet today because there was no quorum. Present only was the committee chair, Dr. Biman Prasad, and his fellow opposition member, Aseri Randrondro. Apologies were received from the government whip Semi Korot Lavesau, and Dr. Bridgelal, Deputy PAC Chair Balminder Singh, was unavailable due to other committee assignments. At least 3 members have to be present for a parliamentary committee to be able to sit. It's understood PAC meetings will be rescheduled for after the July sitting of Parliament, which is scheduled from the 6th to the 10th of next month. Coming up, water, electricity and roads dominate discussions at National Development Plan consultations with the public.
If you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker.
Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark. Even got that homebrew flowing.
An audit into the Free Education Initiative by the Education Ministry has revealed that 20% of schools misused the funds last year. An audit team was set up by the Education Ministry in April to look into the use of the free education grant given to all schools. Eleanor Rangaivu reports.
The School Management Association conference in Lambasa has been informed that the audit into the use of the free education grant in all schools continues. And Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says the percentage of misuse is likely to increase further.
We want to work very closely with you to ensure that you understand the roles and responsibility. You understand that the money given by the government is to enhance the students' teaching and learning environment. It is to allow you to ensure that the institution has all the resources and infrastructure for ease of learning.
Dr. Reddy told the conference today Government has embarked on numerous reforms to raise the education standard in the country, and misappropriation by school managements will be dealt with accordingly. The ministry is monitoring heads of schools to ensure that they are doing their jobs.
We are watching our heads of schools. Single person, the head of school, head teacher or principal, can destroy the school if that person is not up to the mark. They need to observe class teaching of the teachers. They need to ensure that the teachers are doing what they're supposed to do.
The minister also revealed that only 90% of teachers in the country are delivering their outcomes.
I'm worried about the 10% which is not up to the mark. We will fix them, or they will have to step aside so that the future of the children is not destroyed.
The ministry will be holding forums and Talano sessions with the School Management Association from all the divisions so they can better understand each other's roles and expectations. Eleanor Turangaibiu, FBC News.
Everyday issues seem to be the majority of reports coming through the public consultations for the country's development plans for the next 5 and 20 years. Finance Permanent Secretary Filimone Wangambada says teams are currently in the Central and Western divisions and the response by the public has been overwhelming.
Water issues, electricity issues, likewise the call for more access into the highlands where some of them do their farming, and they said that if roads are provided, then they would be able to farm the vast lands that they have and to bring down their produce to the main centers.
The countrywide consultations will move to the Northern and Eastern divisions from next week to conclude on the 22nd of July. The New Zealand government has provided a $620,000 grant for the purchase and implementation of a new audit management system. A grant funding was signed in Suva this morning between the Ministry of Finance and the New Zealand government for the new automated system. Teammate will assist in automating most of the auditing institutions and would greatly benefit the ministry.
This particular software that will help in our auditing of processes of government is a big welcome, and we would like to extend our appreciation and gratitude to you, sir, and the government of New Zealand for this timely support.
The project will be managed by the Overseas Development Assistance Unit of the Ministry of Finance. And sports is up next. Here's Jamie with the very latest.
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. In sports tonight, Fiji football side regrouped for second match against the Phoenix, and Prime Minister credits Fiji rugby for its contribution towards building national character. Details after the break.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulabanaga. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
The Vodafone Fiji football side is ready for tomorrow's return match against the Wellington Phoenix. After going down 2-1 to the A-League team last Saturday, the Carlos Buzetti coach side will be looking to reverse the scoreline this time around. Rohit Deo with the details.
Now, Roy Krishna breaks through. It's with him and Glenn Moss, and he plays it through Glenn Moss, and Roy Krishna follows through. And Roy Krishna has opened the account in the 23rd minute of play, scoring against his club. And a neat little
It wasn't the result Fiji fans were looking for, but nonetheless the Fijian side was quite impressive. Officials are satisfied with the result and knowing they can do better tomorrow.
Certainly played it through his legs, came back Glenn.
They're not a little bit disappointed with the final result after all the job they've done on the ground, but that's football. But they showed to everybody the capacity, the skill they have, and the way they play. It was fantastic. We all very, very happy here with the performance. We had some discussions with them, and we look in the tiles. Last night the replay of the game, so they know what they need to be done here.
Although the match tomorrow is a friendly, the locals will be vying for a win to impress the fans.
In general, everybody is okay. Not much, some knocks here, some knocks there, but nothing much we need to worry about. And we will be ready, and we will try to win the game. That's the main aim for us. But again, we are very happy with the performance on Saturday.
Fiji takes on the Phoenix at 6 p.m. tomorrow at Bas Govin Park. Before that, the national under-23 side takes on the Phoenix Premiers at the same venue. Suva's ANZ Stadium was rocked with absolute wonderful football last Saturday, and nothing less is expected when the two sides battle it out once again in Fiji's football town. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Fiji under-23 football side leaves for the Pacific Games on Wednesday. The team plays its last build-up match against the Wellington Phoenix Academy side tomorrow before departing for Papua New Guinea. The travelling team will be named this evening.
Yes, tonight will be the final show here, and there going to be presentation, the closing and stuff like that, all the Fasanok stuff. So there will be the media, Rajesh Patel, Tarunesh Reddy, Sanade, Bo Kumar and so on. Everybody will be here. Will be great and we need to nominate because we go on Wednesday, and it's for respect also to the other players.
Fiji takes on Vanuatu in their first match at the Pacific Games this Friday. Meanwhile, the Wellington Phoenix took time out today to impart some of its skills with players at Nandi Muslim College. Josephine Navula reports.
Young footballers hoping to one day play the sport, learning from some of the professionals.
We are privileged in having the Wellington Phoenix technical staff and the players here, and it gives a huge motivation to these kids who come in from the age range of almost around 13 to 19 years old. And there's a lot for these guys and also for our coaching staff here at the college to look forward to.
Mohammed says the initiative will be a major boost to the players in their preparations for future playoffs.
So I'm sure when they go back, they will be relishing on whatever they are doing at the moment, because we hardly get the technical staff of this nature. And then when we talk about even the players of Wellington Phoenix, well, they make a difference for these kids, so it's just special to them.
The Wellington Phoenix side also shared the same experience.
It's pretty lucky our kids are pretty lucky to be where they are. Even in New Zealand, it's very hard to get into the Phoenix. And I think it's nice that we learn to give what we got back to other people.
Meanwhile, the Fiji under-23 side will take on Wellington Phoenix Academy side tomorrow at 3 p.m. The main match between Fiji's senior football side and Wellington Phoenix kicks off at 6 p.m. in Ba. Josephine Novula, FBC Sports.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says that Fiji's dedication to sport and fitness is one of the strongest building blocks of our national character, and rugby plays a big role in that. Bainimarama was the chief guest at the opening of the Fiji Rugby Union Development Workshop at the Outrigger Fiji Beach Resort in Singatoka this morning. The Prime Minister, who is also the current FRU President, says that in developing the sport with an eye toward world competitions, the social values that are derived from rugby cannot be ignored.
We are the country that provides world-class players, not only to our own teams, but to teams in other countries as well. All seem to be wonderful with Fiji rugby. Or is it? Are we as powerful as we could be and as we can be? And more importantly, are we serving the people of Fiji as well as we could?
The workshop, which is part of the leading rugby program initiated by World Rugby, helps unions with governance, administration, participation, high performance, women's rugby development and finances. Digicel Fiji today farewelled 3 of its brand ambassadors who will be competing in the Pacific Games in Papua New Guinea. Pacific Sprint King Banuve Tambakaudoro, Fiji Pearls Vice Captain Maria Lutua and sailing rep Charlotte Taylor were given a warm send-off to the regional competition. Tale Ndavakadaka reports.
Smiles all around for these 3 national reps who will be part of the Team Fiji contingent to the Pacific Games. The trio are adamant they will do well against the best in the region.
I'm going to go out there and compete to the best of my ability, and we'll be here again in this boardroom with my two companions with our jewelry. And I'm just going to go out there and do the best I can,
Digicel Fiji shared Tambako Zoro's sentiments, adding their experience over the next 2 weeks will be one to treasure.
You make us all very, very proud. It's a delight to have you on the team and watch you participate in these very, very special games. Make the most of it. Whatever happens, we'll be proud of you and we'll be here to welcome you back when you return.
Netball ace shooter Maria Lutua and national sailing champion Salote Taylor expressed their gratitude for the support shown over the past few weeks in the lead-up to the games.
And I thank you for doing this for us. It gives me a great boost to do my best, and especially with the team.
To go to the Pacific Games for me is not just about winning the gold medal and coming home with a bit of jewelry. It's about, and as Meg Taylor put it in her speech to the team, it's about the young lives that you inspire while you're out there. So that's the aim for me, not just to inspire my son, but to inspire the other young children in this country.
The first batch of Team Fiji athletes will depart the country on Wednesday, with the opening ceremony to be held on Saturday in Port Moresby. Thailand Odakavak, FBC Sports.
Ravin Nath continued his dominance in local car racing, winning the Lincoln quarter-mile drag race in Deumba yesterday. Nath clocked a time of 10.1 seconds to win the first prize. Tauz Khan finished second with a time of 10.74 seconds, while Ravi Nair finished third with a time of 10.75 seconds. A total of 27 cars took part in yesterday's race. That's it from sports this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
RC Manabai Group of Companies has signed a memorandum of understanding with the South Pacific Business Development in an effort to eradicate poverty by empowering women in rural communities. The MOU will enable women in the rural areas to secure a maximum loan of $1,000 worth of housing equipment from RC Manabai to improve their standard of living. SPBD President Gregory Casagrande says this is another milestone achievement for them as they now move towards providing low-cost housing for rural women.
We believe that this partnership will help us to further provide important materials for our women clients to help them further build out their businesses and to further improve their homes.
Casagrande says the partnership with RC Manabai will help them continue the fight of alleviating poverty by assisting thousands of families in the country. Mostly fine and cool weather prevailed over most parts of the country today. A tropical depression 17F was analyzed near 03.9 south and 162.2 east at 3 p.m. today. It's gradually moving westwards and is expected to continue to bring heavy rain and strong winds over the Solomon Islands in the next few days. Meanwhile, a broad cool southeast wind flow prevails over most southwest Pacific Island countries. Another day of cool temperatures. Suva hit a maximum of 24, while Lautoka managed 29 degrees. Expect a cool night with temperatures dropping to 17 in Ba, 21 in Levuka, and 22 in Kandavu. Forecast to midnight tomorrow, cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. And heading into the midweek, expect fine weather apart from brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands, cool at night. And the main points again. The government will decide this week how it will finance a global bond worth US $250 million, which matures next year. The Fiji Women's Crisis Center has received an alarming number of cases of rape and marriages in the first 6 months of the year. And a leading Muslim cleric says Fiji and the region aren't immune to the terrorist group Islamic State, which is recruiting young men and women from around the world. Now to our poll segment. And the results from last week's question. We had asked, are you satisfied with services provided by municipal councils? 78% said no. Here is this week's question. Do you think Fiji Airways is doing all it can to serve its customers? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.
घर संसार में आपका स्वागत है। आपका अपना छोटा सा स्वर, जहाँ प्यार भरे रिश्ते पलते हैं, जहाँ हेल्थी रहने की सलाह दी जाती है, जहाँ हम आपको और भी सुंदर बनाते हैं और जहाँ स्वाद की सौगात भी है। नमस्कार, मैं हूँ पल्लवी। सोमवार से शुक्रवार 9 से 12 तक रेडियो FBC 2 देश की धड़कन पर घर संसार में शामिल रहिए मेरे साथ।
ऐसा सुंदर सपना अपना